Hello, good afternoon, everyone. This is Praveen from 99 Test. So today, the topic for the webinar is how Google Test Software and how crowdsourcing works. So I would like to share about the core ideas behind which Google tests the testing ideas, how they work, and uh, and how 99 Tests has been able to help come. So here is what we have learned uh, about how Google tests software, right? Since Google is an entirely engineering culture, they stress a lot on automation. That is, they're a highly engineering-driven culture. They do not want to use manual effort where it is not needed. So the first thing that they do is they try and automate everything that they can, right? So as engineers, the quality is responsibility when they write code is the responsibility of the developer to make sure the code has automation scripts. So there is, enough level of unit testing, and there is the goal is to automate the maximum extent. They use TDD or any piece of code that is checked in is made sure there is enough automation, right? So one way of most companies in the early stage, what they do is they build the software without worrying about quality, right? And then slowly mature into building the unit testing scripts, the automation scripts, Selenium scripts, and then that's how it goes. But in Google, the key is to automate as much as possible. And the second point we can learn from Google is that it's not just the testers who are responsible for quality. In some organizations, what happens is developer writes a code and throws it over, and testers are responsible for ensuring quality. That is not the way, right? Everybody in the team is responsible for ensuring quality of the product. So that is a key cultural part of how Google tests software. And the next part is what are the roles of testers, right? Do they even have test engineers in Google? Mostly they don't. What they have is software test engineer, uh, then they have software engineer and a test engineer. So let me share a little bit about how this works, right? So software engineer is responsible for doing sorry everything, uh, right from writing unit test cases to test cases at the higher level to make sure the software works. Software test engineers are responsible for infrastructure code. Even that person writes code, right? And he writes automation frameworks, right? And test engineer is the only person who gets a chance to represent the user. So he is, even though he's not writing code, everything else is coming out like uh, you know code based work, right? Writing from test scenarios to recording user scenarios, right? So he's the only representative of the user, but he doesn't directly test manually the software, right? So you might wonder if this is the case, how who does the manual testing, right? So the pyramid is you automate as much as possible, write test scenarios, build infrastructure code, and and then what happens is they release the product to all the employees of Google. That is dog fooding the process, right? So 10,000 people are testing the feature after almost all automation is done, and they try to catch as much of the bugs there before it's released to the crowd. So I'll just get back to the ACC model. But what happens then is then they do a limited release to the crowd. That is, they release the software to a small percentage of users. Of course, Google has millions of users, and they can afford to do a release like this, where they can release it to 100,000 users, then a million users, and then to the entire world, right? So that is one of the way. So coming back to the ACC model, this is what they use. It is called the Attribute Component Capability Model. So what they do is, for example, if you're testing Google Plus or Chrome, how many test cases, or how large would the test plan be, right? So they have come up with a model where you can simplify a very complicated software into at least 200 segments, which can be defined by attributes, capabilities, and components. So capabilities are nothing but features. Attributes are similar to adverbs, and components are features. Capabilities are what the feature does. They are verbs, right? So what happens is the test engineer is able to model the software in this framework, go back to the developers and say, have we caught everything, and which is important. So that helps them prioritize the testing effort. So this is a brief, overview of how uh, testing is done at Google. Even though it's unbelievable that Google Plus was built in 100 days, and they added 90 more features in 90 days, and the scale of users is in millions. They are able to ensure such high quality. So there is definitely a lot to learn from Google in how it tests software. So these are some of the key points that they ensure to make sure the products that they release are of very high quality. So little bit about 99 tests. So how can we help companies to be able to test their applications as good as Google tests their software applications, right? So what 99 tests has is we have more than 20,000 testers. So we have access to large number of devices. So we can get your app tested by specific devices in specific regions. So instead of just testing your application on 20 devices, we can do a very large coverage, right? So this ensures your app works basically, the basic features work across the specified set of devices. You get a very large device coverage, which typically would not be possible for you in the short time or the ease that 99 tests can, right? So we can get you real devices in the real world, which your app has to run perfectly, right? The next thing 99 Test can do is it can get you hundreds of testers, thousands of testers. So since we have over 2,000, 20,000 testers across the world, we are able to get more than 100 testers in each country. So for example, we had a client, Procter and Gamble. We tested across 12 countries with 1,000 testers in just 5 days. So we were able to release the product across a very large set of countries and geographies to make sure the app works very well. So this is what is the power of the crowd. You're able to get a very large set of testers across the world with just a click of a button. So this we can do that. And the third part where 99 tests or any crowdsourcing company can help us, uh, we can uh, we can work with any development cycle. So crowd testing brings you the kind of flexibility which nobody else can bring you, right? So we have customers who come and tell me, Praveen, I want to test in 2 days. Give the build on Friday and I need the bugs by Monday. So that can be done. We have companies who we have tested for 15 days, right? No matter your development cycle and your testing needs, crowd testing by 99 tests is completely flexible to work with your development needs and your user needs to make sure you're able to release the product in a very short time and high quality. Even including companies who do multiple releases per day, we are able to work with them for different features and releases. So I just have three more slides which talk a little bit about examples of what we have done. We have worked with a company called Rivieri. So they wanted to test e-commerce app across I think 5 to 10 languages. So we got the testers from remote areas who knew those particular language to get the device coverage, right? So we were able to get devices in particular areas where the app needed to work with a particular language localization. So we can help you do that. Of course, we have Procter and Gamble. They wanted to test the app in the real world, so we tested their app across 12 countries and I think 5 languages: French, Mexican, Canadian, English, and a couple of more languages. So we tested their application just before the release, across 12 countries and 5 languages. So they got the real world feedback of how their application is behaving in the real world. And we were able to catch tremendous number of bugs and help them actually make their release a very high quality release. And of course, development process, right? We've worked with companies like Registration Hardware, which is an e-commerce. So every time they have a release, and they give it to the crowd to ensure there are no critical bugs. So they were able to click a button and get 50 testers anytime in the month. So that kind of flexibility 99 tests provides. So so what we have is we have something called Bugathon, where we get companies, the top companies, test your app for free, so they get a flavor of how the crowd works. You can just submit your URL and get 20 to 30 testers work for you for a couple of days, and you can see the results, the bugs. So Bugathon is right now open for any company. If you go to bugathon.99test.com, you can submit your app for free. So you can get a small number of bugs to see how the crowd keeps working. The crowd keeps working 24 hours a day, 365 days a year, right? So you have access to 99 tests Bugathon right now. Okay, so I think that's all I had in slides. So if you can give me a couple of minutes, I can actually show you the platform. Okay, here you can see, for example, this is a dashboard, client dashboard. So because we can only show bugs of 99 tests by 99 tests, this shows you how many bugs we logged, how many are valid. These are the features and total bugs logged, you know, and what is the severity, how many bugs are available, and based on category. And then you have coverage on mobile, Android, how many you found, iOS, right? So you get a complete representation of technical bugs, the device coverage, the feature wise distribution of all the issues. So let me show you some issues as well, right? So these are some of the bugs that are being logged. Let's look at high priority bug. So this is the title description. In my desktop, under projects, menu tabs are visible, unable to view anything. So there's the issue type, a priority, and status. Right here, you can see the attachment, URL, where it was found, the environment. So who logged the bug, who voted on the bug. Then you have the description of the bug, actual result, and expected result. So this can be, imported into any bug tracker. Attachment, view attachment, it says WF. So if it's an image, you can view it, right? So you can view the image which is given with the bug. These are the error, right? So that's how you see the issues you can download. You can see the requirements that are needed to run this cycle. So let me show you a little bit about test cases. So here you see test cases, right? That means each step that that needs to be executed. Step one, what was supposed to happen? Step two, step three. So 99 tests can break down workflows into steps and execute test cases across different platforms. So we can execute these steps on, for example, iOS, Android, and web. What was the results? You will get the results like how many testers, how many test cases passed, how many bugs, right? So these are a couple of things that we have just shown you. We have test cases, bugs. We also have we have quality grader, which tells you the quality of your app, planner, right? So as your app improves, we have bug tracker. We can help you plan what is needed for the next month, along with testing of functionality, finding bugs, making sure they work using test cases. And we also have usability surveys, which tells you how's your quality. So you can make sure once every 3 months what your users are feeling. So you get a complete overview of your app and uh, at its quality on a regular basis. And we want to partner with you to improve the quality of an app month on month, as we not just log bugs and execute test cases. We recommend to you what the app needs based on the quality we are seeing. We recommend one cycle of usability, one cycle of security, or we tell you we need to automate this as the test cases are being built up, right? So this is what the platform kind of, the power of platform and 20,000 can give you. Complete QA solution at the click of a button. You don't have to worry about testers. You don't have to worry about what is needed. We will manage everything. We just have to understand the needs of your app and make sure we'll hit your quality requirement on them. So that is a little bit about 99 tests.